We often see the carefully curated versions of people's lives, don't we? The booming businesses, the picture-perfect
Yeah,
relationships.
the highlight reels.
Exactly. But what happens when that facade crumbles, revealing a much darker truth? Think about Amanda Williams, a vibrant entrepreneur, a pillar of her community, with a seemingly successful salon. Then, her story takes a heartbreaking turn, bringing the hidden reality of domestic violence into stark focus.
It's a chilling reminder, isn't it? How easily appearances can deceive us and how vital it is to look beyond the surface.
Absolutely. And that's precisely what we're going to do in this deep dive. You shared a collection of sources surrounding the death of Amanda Williams in Warrensville Heights on October 9th, 2023.
Hmm.
We have news articles outlining the timeline, a moving obituary that gives us a sense of the woman she was, and statements from the prosecutor's office that shed light on the legal proceedings.
Right. These different pieces of information, when we put them together, they offer a more complete picture of a very complex and, well, tragic situation. The news reports give us the factual progression. Yeah.
The obituary honors her life and contributions, and the prosecutor's statements detail the legal path that followed.
So our goal here is to navigate through these sources and extract the crucial details for you. We want to understand the sequence of events, the legal journey, and importantly, the broader context of this devastating case.
Okay.
So let's begin by understanding who Amanda Wills was.
Amanda was born on April 18th, 1977 in Cleveland, Ohio. From what the sources tell us, she was deeply connected to her family,
Mm-hmm.
and they instilled in her the values of faith, the importance of education, and a spirit of entrepreneurship. It sounds like these principles really guided her life.
We also see her involvement with Delta Sigma Theta sorority. This is a historically black sorority with a strong emphasis on public service and developing leadership qualities.
Yeah, that really speaks to her commitment to something larger than herself.
Definitely.
And professionally, she built an impressive career. For over 2 decades, Amanda poured herself into her work as a hairstylist.
25 plus years, right? Yeah, exactly. She clearly wasn't just cutting hair. She built a strong reputation for her skill and for the personal connections she forged with her clients. It seems she was a real presence in their lives.
Then, in 2023, she realized a significant dream by opening her own salon, A La Mode Styles, in University Heights.
Big step.
Huge. Now, it's worth noting that the failure rate for new salons is incredibly high. Some statistics say around 80% don't make it past the first 18 months.
Wow, that high.
Yeah. Amanda not only launched her salon, but was clearly thriving, which speaks volumes about her talent and business savvy.
Right, absolutely. And the obituary provides a touching glimpse into how she was viewed by those who knew her best. It notes her passing on October 10th, 2023, and the funeral arrangements, including a Delta Sigma Theta service before the main service at the Word Church on October 19th, followed by her burial at Cleveland Memorial Gardens. These details highlight the significance of her presence within her community and the traditions she valued.
And there's this very human detail that stuck with me. One of the articles mentioned she was described as someone who lit up the room
Oh,
and would be sorely missed. It's these small, heartfelt descriptions that remind us of the profound personal loss at the center of this tragedy.
yeah, it makes it very real.
Okay, so we have a sense of Amanda as a successful businesswoman, deeply connected to her community and cherished by those around her. Let's now turn to the events of that night in October.
Okay. On October 9th, 2023, at approximately 11:41 p.m., the Warrensville Heights Police Department responded to a call reporting a domestic disturbance at Amanda's home on Sunset Drive.
Right.
When they arrived, they found Amanda had sustained multiple gunshot wounds. She was rushed to a hospital, but tragically, she died from her injuries.
So sad. In the immediate aftermath, a male person of interest was taken into custody. We later learned this was Terrell Edwards, her fiancé. However, he was subsequently released because, at that initial stage, the authorities felt they lacked sufficient evidence to demonstrate intent.
Which is often tricky right at the beginning. And it's important to understand that initial claim made by Edwards' family attorney. They invoked Ohio's Stand Your Ground law, suggesting that his actions were in self-defense. This introduces a significant legal element and likely played a role in the early stages of the investigation.
Okay, can you briefly explain Stand Your Ground for those who might not know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Generally, stand your ground laws state that a person has no duty to retreat before using deadly force in self-defense if they reasonably believe they are in imminent danger of death or serious injury.
Got it. That legal aspect certainly complicated things early on. Understandably, the community responded with a strong desire for answers and for justice for Amanda. There was a press conference led by Pastor R.A. Vernon, with family members present, who voiced concerns about the transparency coming from the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office.
Yeah, and this press conference really underscores a common tension in cases like this, doesn't it? The family is understandably grieving and wants immediate answers, immediate action, while law enforcement and the prosecutor's office need time to conduct a thorough investigation to build a solid legal case. The family's concern about transparency is a natural reaction in such a difficult situation.
And the prosecutor's office did issue a statement around that time, acknowledging that they had received preliminary reports from the police department the Monday before that Tuesday press conference.
Okay.
They emphasized that these investigations are complex and take time, and that they were awaiting further evidence before determining the appropriate course of action, which typically involves presenting the findings to a grand jury.
Right. It's a crucial point that these early stages are about meticulous fact-gathering. While the waiting can be incredibly difficult for those affected, a careful and thorough investigation is essential to ensure a just outcome in the long run.
Then, a significant development occurred with the bond hearing for Terrell Edwards on November 8, 2023. At this hearing, the specific charges against him were revealed: aggravated murder, felonious assault, and domestic violence. He entered a plea of not guilty.
Okay, and the details shared by the prosecutor during this hearing painted a very disturbing picture, didn't they?
Extremely.
They alleged that Edwards emptied a 6-shot revolver into Amanda after an argument that had reportedly gone on all day.
All day.
Yeah, with the final catalyst being a dispute over cell phones described as the final straw.
Over cell phones. Wow. And the information that came out went even further. The prosecutor stated that Edwards had recorded Amanda holding a knife prior to the shooting. But what's particularly significant, and seems to strongly contradict a claim of self-defense, is that Edwards reportedly took 2 other guns out to his car, but deliberately left the revolver inside the house.
Oh, wow. That detail about the other guns is critical. It strongly suggests a deliberate choice and undermines the idea that he acted impulsively in fear for his life. It points towards, well, a more intentional act.
Adding to that, the prosecutor stated that all 6 bullets from the revolver were fired. And in a truly chilling detail, it was revealed that after the shooting, Edwards allegedly prevented Amanda's adult daughter from entering the bedroom to help her mother.
Oh my goodness.
And did not immediately call for emergency medical assistance.
These actions immediately following the shooting raise very serious questions about his intent and his account of what transpired. Preventing aid, delaying a call for help. Those are certainly not actions that align with someone who is acting purely in self-defense.
The prosecution made their position clear. They believed that Edwards had been planning to claim self-defense. And the attorney, representing Amanda's family, then shared some truly devastating information, including photographs that allegedly showed evidence of prior physical abuse.
Oh, no.
And text messages from Edwards himself apologizing for acts of violence against her, specifically referencing stomping on her head and beating her, and kicked you in the face.
Wow. This evidence of prior abuse and the admissions in the text messages provide a crucial context that directly challenges the narrative of a sudden act of self-defense. It suggests a pattern of violence and control within the relationship. When we see these kinds of patterns, it often indicates a cycle of abuse, which is a very complex and dangerous dynamic.
So, following the community's strong reaction and the emergence of these disturbing details, Edwards was indicted by a grand jury in early November. He subsequently turned himself in, and the case proceeded to trial.
Right. At trial, Edwards maintained his version of events, testifying that Amanda had come at him with a knife and that he acted out of fear for his life, stating he was scared and just shot rapidly.
But the jury ultimately didn't agree with his account. On March 4th, 2024, they delivered their verdict, finding Edwards guilty on 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of domestic violence.
Okay.
He was found not guilty of the most serious charge, aggravated murder.
Okay, so not aggravated murder, but still murder, felonious assault, domestic violence. Can you clarify the difference between murder and aggravated murder for us?
Sure. While both are charges related to unlawful killing, aggravated murder often involves additional elements like premeditation or particularly heinous circumstances. Felonious assault, on the other hand, involves causing serious physical harm to another person.
Got it. So, while he wasn't convicted of aggravated murder, the guilty verdicts on the other significant charges clearly indicate that the jury believed he acted unlawfully and with the intent to cause serious harm or death.
Exactly. As Pastor Vernon commented, justice did prevail, while rightly acknowledging the irreplaceable loss of Amanda.
A bittersweet justice, I suppose.
Very much so. Amanda's family also released a statement expressing their deep gratitude for the dedication of the prosecutor, the assistant prosecutors who presented the case, and the thoroughness of the investigation conducted by the Warrensville Heights Police Department. They felt that their collective efforts had brought about the necessary accountability for Amanda's tragic death.
That's good to hear they felt supported. And Prosecutor O'Malley himself stated that the state's firm belief from the beginning was that this was an intentional act of homicide without any legal justification,
Right.
and that the evidence presented throughout the trial had definitively proven that to be the case. This conviction validated their initial assessment and the work of the investigative team.
The sentencing hearing took place on March 11, 2024. Terrell Edwards received a sentence of life in prison, with the possibility of parole after serving a minimum of 24 years.
24 years before parole eligibility. Following the sentencing, Prosecutor O'Malley again emphasized the profound and immeasurable loss experienced by Amanda's family and friends. He expressed his hope that Edwards would spend his time in prison reflecting on the immense pain he had inflicted. He also conveyed his continued thoughts and prayers to the Williams family, hoping they could find some measure of healing in the difficult days ahead.
And during that sentencing hearing, some truly harrowing details from the investigation were brought to light. It was revealed that the 6 shots fired resulted in a total of 8 wounds to Amanda's body.
8 wounds from 6 shots.
Yeah. Tragically, one of those wounds would have caused immediate and complete paralysis from the neck down,
Oh, God.
making it physically impossible for her to have been holding a knife at the time she sustained the fatal gunshot wounds to her neck and back.
So that completely refutes the self-defense claim about the knife.
Completely. Furthermore, the evidence showed that Edwards offered no assistance whatsoever to Amanda after shooting her, and even prevented her own daughter from trying to help.
These final details paint such a stark picture of the brutality of the crime and completely dismantle any remaining possibility of a legitimate self-defense claim. The fact that she was already incapacitated by one of the initial shots makes the subsequent fatal shots unequivocally intentional and underscores the tragic reality of the situation.
And Pastor Vernon's powerful message after the verdict serves as a crucial reminder about the dangers of domestic violence. Domestic violence is real, and one time is enough, and you could lose your life by staying too long.
That's a chilling message. One time is enough.
It's a stark and heartbreaking lesson that emerges from this case.
Absolutely. This deep dive into the sources surrounding the death of Amanda Williams reveals a truly devastating outcome. A life filled with success and community connection was tragically cut short by domestic violence. Despite the initial complexities in the legal process, ultimately, the legal system delivered a measure of justice.
The key takeaways for you from this are stark and incredibly important. Recognizing the often subtle signs of domestic abuse is critical, as is understanding the increased danger that victims can face when they attempt to leave an abusive relationship.
That's a really important point about the danger when leaving.
It is. And the vital role of the community in seeking justice and offering support to victims cannot be overstated.
Yeah, this case also compels us to reflect on the hidden nature of abuse. Amanda Williams was a successful, seemingly vibrant individual. Her story is a powerful and sobering reminder that abuse can exist in any context, masked by outward appearances of normalcy and success.
So as you consider everything we've discussed, ask yourself this. How often might we encounter similar situations in our own lives where someone is silently enduring abuse hidden beneath a veneer of normalcy? And what does it truly mean to offer meaningful support and be a safe harbor for those who might be suffering in silence? It's a challenging but profoundly important question to keep with you.